Welcome to Master Domaining. I'm Gene Pimentel, and in this session, we're going to talk about trademark infringement and domain names. Many people erroneously believe that just because their domain name registrar says a particular domain name is available, that it's up for grabs by anyone who wants to register it. This is not the case. Even if a domain name is listed as available, it may not legally be open for use. Why? Because there might already be a company that has the legal rights to the keywords used within the domain name. Whether or not you're aware of a trademark issue when you register or purchase a domain name, you're at risk of losing it through a domain name arbitration proceeding. You could even be charged with a trademark infringement if things get really ugly. For this reason, it's a good practice to check the keywords used in a domain name for a possible trademark. As a domainer registering a lot of domain names, it's nearly impossible to avoid all trademark issues. Fortunately, the ones that become real issues are those that you would recognize immediately as a trademark, like Coke, Google, Nike, Sony, Apple, Microsoft, etc. If you use well-known trademarks in your domain name, you are very likely to hear from their legal team. However, you'll find many instances of people using trademarks in their domain names that seem to get away with it. Don't make the rookie mistake of assuming just because someone else is getting away with it that you will too. That's like breaking the speed limit just because you see others doing it. Eventually, you'll get busted. With luck, it'll be a simple request to turn the domain over to them or to take it out of circulation. It can get a lot more aggressive than that, of course. Before we go any further into the subject of trademarks, I have to remind you that this is absolutely not legal advice. I am not a lawyer, and if you have any legal questions about any of this, you'll need to consult with a qualified professional. Now, the real challenge with trademarks is there are a lot of gray areas. In fact, establishing who is right or wrong in a court of law is very subjective and can be interpreted in different ways depending on who's involved. The best we can do as domainers is to be aware that we should not infringe on someone else's trademark in any way. It's important to understand that a trademarked word or phrase can be used by different people or companies if they are used in different industries. For example, you wouldn't want to use the word Windows in your domain name if the website will be used for software. That could lead people to believe you're associated with MS Windows. However, using the word Windows in your domain name for a website that sells home replacement windows would be fine. Naturally, the only way to be completely sure is to run the domain name by a trademark attorney. In fact, you'll find the exact same well-known trademarks used in many different industries. The word Windows is used in many different industries. The word Apple is used in many different industries. To search for existing trademarks, you can visit the website of the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, which is at uspto.gov. From here, you can search a database that contains current trademarks as well as those that are pending. Another great site which I find easier to use is trademarkia.com. If you prefer as close to zero risk as possible, you can check each domain name you register against these databases. In reality, checking every domain name I register for possible trademark issues is just not feasible. It can take hours for each domain name. Using common sense and good judgment is my preferred strategy. In the event an issue comes up, I would simply turn over the domain if it is a clear trademark infringement. In all the years I've been domaining, with all the thousands of domains I've registered, I've only had one issue with one domain name. That was because I was brand new to domaining and wasn't yet aware of trademark issues in context of domain names. I had registered a domain called ebayfool.com. Why? Because I was a noob and I thought it was a fun name to register. It's obviously a trademark infringing domain. I was sent a cease and desist letter by eBay and I got rid of the domain name, and that was the end of that. It's also important to understand that a trademark holder has the obligation to protect their trademark or risk losing it. That's why companies go after people who register domain names that appear to be infringing. Also be aware that there are those who take advantage of the fear people feel when confronted with a trademark violation. They purposely seek out domains that they would like to take ownership of and send a threatening letter to the current owner demanding that it be turned over to them. Out and out thieves. Lastly, keep in mind that just because an official trademark is not registered, that does not mean it's not a valid trademark. Any word or phrase is considered a legal trademark when it is recognized by a substantial amount of the population, whether it's officially registered or not. If you do run into any problems and a domain name arbitration proceeding does not rule in your favor, you may be able to get help from the Domain Name Rights Coalition. You can find them at netpolicy.com. In conclusion, don't let the fear of a possible trademark violation get in the way of your progress. Use common sense and make logical decisions, and there will be minimal risk. If an issue does surface, in the majority of situations, you'll simply be asked to stop using the domain name. And for your convenience, I've listed a few different links below that will help you get more information about trademark issues and domain names.